Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with today's guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, you've heard me say before, these are all companies I used as an athletic director. They're all great companies. I highly recommend that you check them out. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our interview. Then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Snap Raise for their support. If you've ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. We used it at our school. Tremendous success, and so will you. Go to their website, check out all of their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's Snap Raise. We also want to say thanks to our good friends at Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Let their team help you become a social media marketing guru. Your school, your athletic department is doing great things, and Gipper's going to help you post text, images, video, and graphics unlimited to Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can schedule the contents in advance, so you can set it and forget it. Create newsletters, build a touchscreen experience. You really got to see it to believe it. Go to Gipper.com for more information. We also want to thank Home Campus. Home Campus is the official high school sports administration platform for a number of states, thousands of ADs, and even if your state uses a different platform, you can still be a home campus school. I'm telling you, their athletic clearance and eligibility platform alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com and don't forget to mention the podcast. We also want to thank Vital Signs. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. You put one of their units in your gym lobby or your main school hallway, it's going to be a magnet for kids, for teachers. How about sponsors and alums? Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com for more information. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an AD, I made sure our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents just love the tools that Huddle provided. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast. We'd like to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. My assistant athletic director, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio program. And while they're earning their master's degree, they're also completing 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We'd like to say thank you to Hometown. Hometown is changing the game for schools and organizations with their platform that includes digital ticketing. They're still the #1 digital ticketing provider. How about fee-free fundraising, athletic website construction? The list goes on and on. Whether you're an athletic director, a principal, even a head coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. You'll find it all at hometown.com. And we'd like to thank Athletic Surveys. If you're not using a survey to take the pulse of your student athletes, your coaches, how about your parents, you're really missing out. Athletic Surveys is going to create a custom survey that connects you with those parents you already hear from, but you're also going to get connected to the 98% of your stakeholders that support your program. And having that type of positive data is incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Let them create that survey that's going to help you take your athletic program from good to great. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're not only staying in Florida today, we're just going down the road just a little bit to South Lake High School, and we're going to be visiting with Travis Alderink. Travis is the director of athletics, as I said, at South Lake High School. He's a podcast veteran. We might get into that later on. But Travis, welcome to the Educational AD Podcast.
Thank you so much, Coach. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Well, again, it's always fun to do our Florida ADs. That's how we got started. And I know it's a busy time for you. For our listeners, we're recording this on July 31st. So in Florida, we've already been in fall practices for 3 days now, and it's hot and it's muggy. Kids are working hard, coaches are working hard, ADs are working hard. But let's go and get started. Travis, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us your quick bio, where you were born, where you grew up. We're going to go through your high school and college days, but what's the Travis
Okay.
Alderink origin story?
Sure. I'm from a small farm town called Coopersville, Michigan, from West Michigan. I grew up about 30 minutes east of Lake Michigan. Love Lake Michigan. Still miss that fresh water compared to these oceans down here. I grew up playing sports with my friends. In fact, I had a wiffle ball field on my parents' house that my brother made. We cut out base paths. We had a green monster, and that really developed my fondness of athletics and setting up the game fields. And I still love doing that stuff to this day. Played a lot of rec ball growing up, and in fact, what really also got me into sports was my father volunteered and took over the Little League baseball program when they were kind of dismantling. So he stepped up and made sure that we still had a place to play. I saw him volunteering, giving up his time, never asking for anything from anybody. And I just wanted to give that same opportunity to kids. And my job currently is to give them an opportunity to have a chance to play like I did growing up.
Oh, wow, that is so cool. Again, I just love hearing the origin stories. So, Michigan, Wolverine or a Spartan?
Big Michigan Wolverine fan. In fact, I have a 10-year-old son and he is brainwashed to the core right now. He doesn't leave the house without wearing Michigan gear.
I love it. Well, you
Yep,
got some.
big Michigan fan. My brother's a Michigan State fan, so we have a house divided though.
Oh, okay. Well, in our house, I'm an Oregon Duck, and my wife is an Oregon State Beaver. So, we have that civil
Oh,
war going on every year.
that's funny.
Um, let's go back to that growing up part. You mentioned the backyard wiffle ball and the youth leagues and things like that. I'm going to guess there was a hoop in your driveway. Michigan, you're playing
Yep,
hockey in the street during the winter.
yep.
What are some stories from that time that stick out for you?
That's funny you say in the street because our we lived next to a gravel road that used to freeze over, and we could literally skate in the street and play hockey like on this gravel street that nobody really drove up and down. We played everything growing up. Uh, Golf, basketball, and baseball are my three big ones, though. Those are the ones I played in high school. And my basketball coach, our senior year when we were on the varsity team, we got to our big moneymaker was the little kids coming and breaking up in basketball, and we do camps, and then we split them in teams, and we did like a 4 to 6 week schedule. And our varsity players coached the elementary kids, and that was awesome. I those kids were drawn to me. I was good with the kids. The parents loved me. I was always requested, and that kind of got me thinking, well, I am good with these kids. I like coaching them. It's fun. And then, PE major was kind of in my corner after that. So, yep, golf's my best sport. I'm still a pretty big golfer. Love golf. I play as much as I can. Basketball these days is tougher because my knees are killing me. And then slow pitch softball, I had to retire from that not too long ago either because I did play a little bit in college. I played junior college at GRCC, ended up going to a junior college World Series. Then I transferred to Grand Valley, Division two. We got to play in a Division two World Series, but we were 0-2 in that and don't even remember the details because it was so fast we were out. Um, but yeah, so I baseball was with my natch that I wanted to coach. I love playing golf, and I ended up doing it all. So.
Oh, wow. Again, sometimes I ask the question, did you always know that you wanted to be a coach? And as a young coach, do you always knew you wanted to be an AD? I think you've already answered those questions.
I didn't always know, but the more I was in college and the more I was kind of self-searching, I was like, you're really good with kids. The sports come easy to you, and I'm really shy, like in a public setting. But playing sports, you would never know I'm shy. I get out there, I'm talking to people, I'm yelling at people, like so. I just when I got into my PE major at college, my wings spread, I blossomed, I really became who I was supposed to be, I think.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. It's refreshing. Again, I'm guessing I'm a few years older than you, but it's always refreshing to hear somebody say PE major because now it's sport management or it's this. It just
Yeah,
what happened to the good old PE major? Good for you. Um,
yeah.
as you were um making that transition from high school, let's say high school to college, and you mentioned JUCO and Grand Valley. At Grand Valley, it's a pretty good program. Were you the hot shot recruit? Were you that scrappy blue collar kid? Scrambling to make the travel team. What are some of your memories of that?
So that's funny you ask. I actually didn't get any recruitment. I had my really good friend and catcher was a stud. So we had college coaches coming to our game to watch him. And I remember my dad ended up talking to the GRCC coach along the fence of the game when he was there to recruit our catcher, and I was throwing, and I threw well that game. And he's like, "Oh man, is that your boy? He's throwing well, but he's just so skinny." I was 6'4", 150 pounds. So I wasn't getting very many looks at. I didn't really throw that hard in high school. I was like 75 to 78. And then so I didn't play my freshman year of college. And the catcher that was a really good friend, he ended up going to GRCC and he was telling me all about it and how cool it was. And then he ended up getting killed in a drunk driving accident in September of that fall. So we were barely in school a month. And now I got my really good friend and the catcher that I was talking to, he died. And so I dedicated that whole year to getting out and getting in shape for him. And I played for him and I went out that summer and the coaches recognized me and they said, "Oh, you filled out a little." I put on 40 pounds and it wasn't all muscle. It was freshman weight, but I filled out a little more. I was throwing it a lot harder and then they just liked me. So I ended up playing my sophomore and my junior year of community college. I kind of redshirted myself, I like to say.
Right. No, no. I mean, tragic, but great story. Good for you.
Yeah.
Um, let's go and talk about that move from JUCO to Grand Valley. Again, were you planning on playing baseball, or did that just again happen?
So my sophomore year, I really had a breakout season. I threw well. They were using me as a closer. I was throwing really well. We went to the World Series. I pitched well there. And so I was like, I think I still want to keep playing. I wasn't getting drafted. I knew that. So I was looking at an NAIA school. And then in summer ball, the Grand Valley coach was there and I threw well. Ended up being in front of it was like a high school all-star team. So I was a little older than them, but I mowed them down, and the coach loved it. So he offered me a third of a scholarship for Division II, and it was right in my backyard, so I didn't have to leave home, and so I took it. But yeah, I just kind of always fallen into place. So there isn't really, I don't know, it's just kind of been right time, right spot, I guess.
Hey, what do they say? Luck is when opportunity meets preparation, something like that. So,
I agree with that.
you were there. Um, let's go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, I want to hear more about your journey that's now brought you to South Lake. For listeners, our guest is
Okay.
Travis Alderink. He is the Alderink. He is the athletic director at South Lake High School, just around the corner from me here in Central Florida. We're taking that break, but we're coming back. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Snap Raise for their support. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Well, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. We used it at our school with our teams and had tremendous success. Our coaches loved it, our parents loved it. I'm telling you, SnapRaise works. Go to their platform. You can check out all of their other great features. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's SnapRaise. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and let their team turn you into a social media marketing expert. Your school, your athletic department is doing great work, and Gipper's going to help you get it out there and get it recognized, whether it's a small social media post to celebrate a victory or an entire newsletter to share all the great things your department's doing. The Gipper team is going to have you up and running in no time. It's professional graphic design made easy. How easy? Hey, it's so easy, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com for more information, and don't forget to mention the podcast. That's Gipper.com.
Yeah, Gipper, we use Gipper at South Lake, I think, for 4 years now. It's very, very easy. And I am not a tech person. So it is just click and point and type what you need, and it comes out looking like you spent hours on a flyer.
Now, thanks so much for sharing that, by the way. Are you the Gipper person, or do you have somebody on your staff, a coach or even a student that contributes to that?
I am like the second tier person to do it. We have our baseball coach, and he's going to be stepping into an assistant AD role this year. He's pretty good at it. We had a coach here a few years back who was really good with using it, and she would do like the headshots for the kids. I am still at the beginner level of it, so I am doing basic stuff with it. I basically do the newsletters every week and kind of just say what's coming up and I post that to social media. Very, very simple to use though.
Now, the newsletter is one of the newer features. What do you think about that? I mean, to me, looking from
I,
afar, it's
I
really
I said
cool.
newsletter, but I meant calendar. I'm sorry, I meant
Okay.
calendar. I haven't used the newsletter feature yet, but I sent out the calendar. I do want to get into the newsletter though.
Okay.
I
Well,
would love a student to actually take it over.
I guarantee that you've got a student that's a sports geek that may or may not be on a team right now that would love to do that. So, there's your challenge.
Yeah, I'm
Go
gonna make a
find that
note.
Gipper student.
Yeah.
Hey, for our listeners, we're back with Travis Alderink. He is the director of athletics at South Lake High School right here in Central Florida. Travis, for this next segment, I want you to take our listeners on your journey post college that has now led you to South Lake. We have a lot of new ADs, a lot of younger ADs, and I think it's important for them to hear about the journey that most of us take before we get that big time AD job.
Sure. So I went to the College of Education at Grand Valley in Michigan. They warned us up front we weren't going to find teaching jobs. You were going to very barely get an interview unless you know somebody. So I was mentally preparing myself to move out of state. I was here in North Carolina. I was here in Vegas. I was here in Florida, all blown up. My brother was actually down in Orlando, Altamont Springs area for a golf school. He's a golf professional. So I moved in with him and sent my resume out, and I got one school who called me back, Imagine Charter School in Claremont, Florida. They were starting a brand new school, and they needed teachers. They did not have PE opening, so I said, I'll take anything you got. So I went down there, interviewed for a fifth grade position, and she says, you're hired, but we don't know if it's going to be fifth grade. So I ended up coming down there and having to like float for a couple of weeks, and then I ended up taking a second grade classroom over at Imagine Charter School at a brand new school teaching second grade because I just wanted a foot in the door to get my professional career going. So I just got into a school system, taught second grade for 2 years, and then ended up doing PE there. And as a PE teacher, I actually helped them start their middle school sports program.
Oh, wow. And again, it's a lesson that we hear again and again. It's taking that leap of faith or just taking advantage of that opportunity, as you said, to get your foot in the door. And it's paid great dividends down the road. What were some of those? What are some of the, I guess, memorable moments for someone not trained in second grade pedagogy and management? What's something you can share with our listeners about that day?
Are you talking about teaching second grade? You cut out a little bit there.
Yeah, a second grade experience for somebody who maybe not trained in that area.
Yeah, well, I was elementary ed minor because I did like the littler kids
Okay.
over the big kids. So I was student teaching it in a first, second grade class. So I kind of had some experience in it. It's just when you're on your own with second graders, you're tying shoes, you're blowing noses, you're helping them just be little kids and boy, they're so vulnerable and the parents are so much more involved when they're little. And I really got to know about those. I'm still in touch with some of those families. In fact, some of those second graders are now teachers themselves. They're 26, 27 years old already. And let's just say I was happy to get out of that classroom, though. I don't know if I'd ever
Right.
go back to an elementary classroom setting.
I remember when I graduated from college, it was the same thing. There were no jobs. And so I was a substitute for like 2 years and then
Mhm.
ended up getting hired at a school where I'd done a lot of subbing. But I would tell the secretaries that were, calling in the morning, I'll take any subject, any grade level, except little kids. Okay. I think maybe I think sixth grade was my basement. I was going to stop there because you're right. You are on every single second. There is no downtime. Um, you
Yeah.
mentioned you help the school start their middle school sports program. That had to be exciting.
Yep.
What are some of your memories about those startup years?
So yeah, we reached out to Lake County. I think I can't remember his first name. Van Bracken was the Lake County AD at the time. He helped us. He was very opening. In Michigan, public schools hate charter schools. That's how I grew up. Like we did not like charter schools. Down here, they're very opening to charter schools. They're very accepting. So I was very surprised at that. We started off with a very first cross country meet. I threw a handful of kids out there that weren't really ready, and oh boy, it was an eye-opening experience. We had a girl sprinting the first 200 yards of the cross country meet, and then she finished dead last. But yeah, we got into some basketball. We got soccer, it's co-ed soccer. We had a cheerleading team. We had a volleyball team, and they're doing well now. They're still rolling over there at Imagine Charter,
Mhm. Now, as that
and my son
program,
still goes there actually.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
As that program was growing and you were seeing the success, you could see, hey, the kids are getting better, the coaches are getting better. Was at the time, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but were you thinking, boy, this is great? I'm going to be here forever? Or were you looking to maybe, go to a bigger school or maybe, coach at a different school? What was your mindset as that program was growing?
So that's a great question. I don't like a lot of change. I've enjoyed their principal at the time. I was only going to go down for a year and then move back to Michigan with a little experience under my belt. But I'm a huge golfer and I like golfing in January and February, so I just kept coming back year to year. And then when the middle school program was growing, I stayed at Imagine for 13 years. And I kind of just felt at the time that I maxed out. I'm like, there's nothing more for me to do here. I got them where they need to be. And then I was kind of like thinking about making the jump to high school. At the time, I was working as a cart guy at Sanctuary Ridge Golf Course on the Saturdays and, whenever I could in the summertime. And I remember going to a Lake County AD meeting and just telling everyone, hey, if anyone wants to golf, I work at a golf course. I can get you guys on. Well, the county AD at the time, Don Hogan, took me up on that. And he was golfing with me like once a week. And I just mentioned to him, like, hey, I think I'm ready to jump up to high school. And by now, 3 months later, he told me Bobby Rago from South Lake left to go to Freedom High School, and there was an opening here, and he got me an interview.
Oh, wow. So, um, just another example of building that network.
Yeah.
How many ADs don't golf? I know there's some, but just taking advantage of that opportunity and, whoa, here's something that develops. Um, I guess it's time to go ahead and take another break. And when we come back, I'm going to ask you to share a little bit about South Lake High School, the program,
Sure.
the kids. But let's go and take that break. Once again, for our listeners, our guest today is Travis Alderink. He's the athletic director at South Lake High School here in Central Florida. We're coming back with more, so please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We also want to say thank you to Home Campus for their support. Home Campus is the official high school sports administration platform for a number of states for thousands of ADs. And even if your state uses a different platform, you can be a home campus school. I'm telling you, the athletic clearance and eligibility component alone is a game changer. For more information, just go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. We'd also like to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the different events, or show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and take a look at their interactive touch screen. That's right, touch screen video consoles. Put one of their units in your gym lobby or your main school hallway. It's going to be a magnet for kids, for coaches. How about sponsors and alumni? You got to see it to believe it. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. You're going to be glad you did. And we want to say thank you to Huddle. You know, as a football coach, I used Huddle for years. When I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, all of our coaches, just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our student athletes love the videos. Our parents love the streaming, but there's so much more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com.
Yeah, so we use home campus. I use it every day, twice, three times, four times a day. I don't know how people do it without home campus. I was talking to an AD at a softball game. We came over, we hosted a playoff game, and they still use the papers and collect papers. And I'm like, holy smokes. Ugh, I couldn't imagine doing that. But home campus is great. We don't collect anything. I have everybody at school trained not to collect physicals. If a parent comes in with something, you do not take it. You tell them how to upload it. And then, yeah, we're a huddle school. And last year was our first year doing huddle. And we love the live streams. Now, we haven't made any revenue off of it yet. We're just trying to figure that part out. But we like sending out the live stream links to people.
Thanks again for sharing about both platforms. And you're right, home campus and Huddle, they're great. What's some of the feedback you've gotten from, I'll just say stakeholders when you live stream the events?
Well, being in Central Florida, we're a melting pot. We have grandparents and families from all over, and a lot of them moved down with them. So grandma and grandpa up in Iowa and Michigan, they like watching their games every now and then. So we don't feel like we have enough views to really charge or make it worthwhile to charge for streaming. So we just give it out for free right now.
Yeah, and again, it's an opportunity. You can do it as a revenue generator, but I think you generate a lot of goodwill by making those
Hmm.
games available to stream. Thanks again for sharing.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
again, for our listeners, our guest today is Travis Alderink. He's the director of athletics at South Lake High School. That's here in Lake County, Central Florida. Travis, give our listeners a little bit of an idea of what South Lake is. What's your enrollment? What type of programs and sports do you offer? And for you, what makes it a special place?
So we are about 2,200 students, big give or take. We offer 14 varsity sports, I think 18 total if you break up the boys and girls and add them all together. What really like I love about the school is it's got that small town feel to it. Even though we're 2,200 students, I graduated with 150 students. So these graduating classes of 450, 500 students, it's mind blowing to me. But yeah, we have a very good ag department. We have a good country section out here, rural section out here, and it kind of feels like home. Like we had a kid last year for the senior prank ride up on a horse, and now admin kicked him out, but like how many schools have kids riding horses to school? So that's what I like about this. It's just a good community. A lot of people, I have a lot of students whose parents came through South Lake. We have 8 or 9 teachers that graduated from South Lake here. And it's a family here. That's what I really, really like about it.
Now, since you've been there, what are some programs? And these might have been programs that you initiated, or they might have been there since the school opened. But what are some things that, program wise, that you're particularly proud of?
So we started last year flag football, girls flag football, and boys lacrosse. My very first year I was here, we started girls lacrosse. So lacrosse is kind of newer to South Lake. I'm very proud of both those programs. Now, we weren't very successful last year in our very first year, but it's a growing opportunity. We also are starting a varsity club, which we are really trying to get the students. I feel like, and I don't know how other schools feel about this, but ever since COVID, our attendance has been down. And we are trying to build that back up. And now having a football team that went 7-3 and making the playoffs last year, we're hoping will help and get some more seats, fans in the seats. And But we're very proud of our football program this year, and a lot of our sports have really we're having coaches do the right things the right way, and we're getting kids to stay at South Lake with this crazy transfer. And we got two major high schools within 6 miles of us, and all we should do if we can keep Groveland kids in South Lake, we'll be fine.
Yeah, you bring up a great point for listeners that are not in Florida and don't understand. NIL's starting to appear in just about every state, but in Florida, we've had the transfer portal for many, many years. Our state legislature, passed a law that kids can transfer almost at will. You can play at three different high schools in 1 year, fall, winter, and spring, and it's totally legal. Nobody no high school coach or high school AD likes it, the rule at all, but it's not a rule, it's a law. And so we're stuck with it. So we do our best to, as ADs, as Travis just said, you promote your kids, promote your program, and you try to keep them at home. Um, Looking to the future, you mentioned, you started lacrosse, you started girls flag football, which is just, I think it's still kind of exploding here in Florida. It's a
Mhm.
great sport. Um, do you see any other sports? Maybe they're a minor type sport that you might be adding down the road, or do you feel that your menu is
Um,
really good for the number of students you got?
I would say I think we're at the mercy of our county when it comes to adding some sports, but I've been hearing a lot of rumbling about boys volleyball coming. And we do have one school in our district doing water polo right now. So if you wanted to play water polo, you can go to that school and play water polo, even though you go to a different school,
Yeah.
which is kind of a weird rule too.
Right, right. And again, since you opened that door, I have heard, and this is not official in any way. Don't email me or call me up, but I have heard that the FHSA is considering, um, I guess, no longer sanctioning water polo because right now the current number of schools in the state that are offering the program is below what the so-called policy threshold is to sanction a sport. And so, yeah, I just think the water polo is one of those sports that maybe like gymnastics, I think the community and the clubs, they do a much better job than we can do at the
Mhm.
school to offer it. Great sport, great for kids. I'm not anti water polo or anti gymnastics, but there's just some things the community, club sports can do better. Hmm?
Yeah, it's just hard to find pools. That's I think the biggest thing for water polo.
Yeah, and it again, you get the haves and the have-nots. Well, this school has a pool, or they have access to a pool in their community. Other communities, other schools don't have that. So it's a geographic advantage or disadvantage. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
we were talking before we started to record. It is July 31st, so it's going to be timely when you're listening to this. And heat is always a concern in any state, but particularly here in South Central Florida. What are some things that you do as an AD? What are some things that your coaching staff does? Let's stick with fall sports to make sure that we're training the kids hard, but we're also making sure that they're safe.
Yeah, so every year the coaches got to watch those videos, of course. Gives you just a little refresher on how bad the heat can be to you, especially if you're not hydrated. My principal, Mr. Benson, who I absolutely adore as a leader and a mentor, he's a big sports guy. He and I met with the fall coaches last week before we started and just went over everything. Like, what are you guys doing? What's the plan? Especially cross country when you got to get spread out a little bit. We bought each team these little tarps in case you're out on a cross country, Kale. You can throw a kid in a tarp and dump ice on him real quick. So they call it an ice taco. That's for emergencies if he's not feeling good. Football, we got ice baths, cow troughs out there that we fill up every day. If a kid falls out, we throw him in there. We haven't had to do that yet. Football is going 10 minutes on, 5 minutes off. We're installing in the gym. We're installing offenses in the gym, walkthroughs in the gym, and then everything else is outside. But we are very, very cautious of the heat, and it's a very old school mentality to say water's for the weak. And we're encouraging these kids to eat breakfast, eat lunch, drink water, drink Gatorade. Sports drinks make you drink more. I was reading about, so we're trying to really push that too. But yeah, it is hot. I walked to my car and I'm dripping sweat, so it's just crazy right now.
No, and again, you're absolutely right. It's, this week alone, temperatures have been in the hundreds, humidity has been way up there. So, you got to do everything you can again, practice hard. I like that 10 minutes on, 5 minutes off, to get the kids ready, because the games are going to be here. Um, let's go and take another quick break. I know that's shocking news to our regular listeners, but we are going to come back with more. So please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to our great friends at Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables, and video boards. You've heard me say before that probably one of the best purchases I ever made as an athletic director was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. You can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but my assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others, and it was a great experience. It's very affordable. It's 20 months, totally online. And while you're earning your master's degree, you're also completing 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Hometown. Hometown is literally changing the game for schools and organizations with their suite of solutions that includes things like digital ticketing. What a surprise. They're still the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. How about fee-free fundraising, athletic website construction, and a whole lot more? Whether you're an athletic director, principal, even a head coach, Hometown is going to help you save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. Go to hometown.com to find out more. That's hometown.com. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. Travis, you and I were talking during the break, and I did not know this, that you're a new member of the FIAAA Board of Directors. You're a district director, here in Lake County. You're also on your own NIAAA journey. So let's go and start with FIAAA. How did you become a district director, and what's your experience so far?
So 2 years ago, I don't think I've ever gone to a conference until about 2 years ago. And my mentor, who I worked with for several years, she actually just stepped away, Miss Schaefer, Mandy Schaefer. She's like, "Hey, we should go to this conference and just, get some professional development and learn and network." And I was like, "Okay, sounds like a great idea." So we go there and I, network a little bit. I see some people. Didn't think much of it. Come back, go to school, relay what we learned, go to the summer, come back in the fall. So this is last fall. I get a random call from Eric, our FIA president, asking if I wanted to be a board member. And I'm like, what? I don't even know. Like, and he's like, yeah, Donnie Tucker from, he's I think he's Polk County. No, Marion County. He's Marion County's district AD. He saw me at the conference and we knew each other from when he was at Forest. And he asked me if he thinks I'd be a good board member. I still don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I go to a couple board meetings. I was at the conference all the time. I was helpful at the conference. I was your host actually for your presentation, and that's how I got to meet you and get on your podcast. But I am just helpful to help out. Still a little bit hazy on the details of what FIAAA and the courses are doing. But the now president Jay, he said last year, like everybody on the board should be working towards your CAA if you haven't started. So I was like, I don't even know what the CAA is. So I signed up for a couple classes this last conference. I've taken, let me see, I wrote them down here. I took 502 strategies for organizational management, and I took 506 legal issues with Title IX. And both of those are very eye-opening.
There's that expression, whether it's attending your first national conference or taking, your first LTI course. It's kind of like drinking from the fire hose. So that got to ask you on 506, the legal one. Usually it's, wow, this is really cool. I got to take it back, or holy smokes, we're not doing this at our school. I got to take this back. Which one was it for you? Or maybe it was both.
Um, we have actually been pretty good since I've been here. We have been pretty good with the Title IX stuff. We have a football field house that we've separated and made so the girls could use it. We built a softball locker room, and our baseball team is now building one because I always thought Title IX was just the boys and girls numbers. Oh, it's facilities. It's a
Yep.
whole mess. You have to offer the same opportunities for both genders. And they were showing us pictures of some of these schools' baseball facilities and then their softball facilities, and it's night and day. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But our school, we pretty much we could take an audit anytime. We're good. We pay attention to that pretty closely. But yeah, it's pretty eye opening of what some of the other schools were trying to get away with.
Yeah, in baseball, softball, you hear it all the time, but uh, bravo to you guys for being ahead of that. And again, you don't comply with Title IX because you want to avoid an audit. You comply with it because it's the right thing to do. We're supporting
Yeah.
all of our student athletes. So that's very cool. Let's go and talk about that NIAAA experience. As you were taking those courses, we always say that the course content stands on its own merit. It's great material, but one of the added benefits, maybe even the biggest benefit, is the connections and networking that you're able to do sitting at the table. What's your experience or comment on that?
So that's a great point. I took the class with the Orange County District Director, Lonnie Flores, and he's our next door neighbor. And we play Orange County schools and everything. And it's just nice to put a name and a face with him and meet him. And he's got a wealth of knowledge and he's a military background guy. And I met some other Orange County ADs just in there. And these guys are the district next to us. So it's just nice to put some faces. I email everybody, and it's nice to put some faces with some names and just hear what some of the other schools are doing. And in Lake County, we are kind of handcuffed because I have to teach. I teach 4 Algebra 2 classes during the day, and I'm at these conferences. I'm not hearing a lot of ADs teaching classes. Maybe a PE class here and there, but no one's really teaching Algebra 2, and that takes up the majority of my day. And so that's just fascinating to hear what schools have and what like we don't have compared to what some schools have.
Now, I got to come back with a follow-up. I know that there's a county AD for Lake County, but have you been able to have any, I'll say, positive conversations with your building administration about, hey, can we get this cut down to, maybe 3 classes or 2, or this is what they're doing over in Orange County. Is that a
Yeah.
possibility?
It hasn't been in my years here. I actually got down from 5 classes to 4 classes, so they did give me one extra planning period. I thought about getting a different certification and something else, but math has always come pretty easy for me. It doesn't come easy for the students though, and that's the headache is they're always asking questions and it takes up a lot of time when like say a storm's rolling in and I'm wondering if we got to cancel the games tonight and I'm answering math questions and it can be a little frustrating from time to time and but yeah, I've had our county AD Pat Todd is great. He's fighting for us. He's very very supportive. I just met with him for lunch this morning actually, and I asked him. I was like, "Any chance of getting us out of the classroom?" And I just think we're so set on what's been working, and now we're I guess for our county, and I'm sure a ton of counties are losing a bunch of money with these vouchers. Kids are going to homeschool. They're going to private schools, and we're just losing all this money. And he brought up a great point. Like if you have a family of 6 and you're all home ed and you get $8,000 back per kid, you're making $70,000 just for educating a family of 6 or whatever. It's just crazy.
Yeah, there's certainly some challenges, within the Florida system. Well, guys, hopefully, there could be some movement in a positive way for you on that.
Yeah.
Again, you and I were talking during the break about your journey with the LTI program and getting your certification. So I'm going to put you on the spot now. You mentioned you've got two courses under your belt. You still got a few more. Um, what's your time frame? Okay, are you thinking about taking that exam at the national conference in December? Are you going to wait and try to do it in May of 26 at the FIAAA conference? What's your thought process right now?
Oh, that's a great question. And my thought process is I would like to knock it out and get it done.
Mhm.
Like I said, the president for FIA right now, Jay, told us last year we should be working towards it. I have no idea how long it should take. I didn't know, like I was just asking you on the break if we're supposed to take these at the conferences or we can take them online. If we could take them online, like you just said we could, I'd probably try to get it done at the national conference then because I think I have three left
Yeah.
and then the exam. So, and then I would like to ultimately get my CMA. I don't know how many more classes that is. It's just baby steps, right? One step at a time. But it looks cool with those initials after people's names.
Well, and again, it does, and it puts you when you do get that CMAA, it puts you in a very elite group. Something like 4% of all athletic directors, which is over 20,000 ADs in the country, have that CMAA. So it is a very elite group, and it's a very cool, worthwhile program to go through with the coursework and your project. You and I could talk about that down the road. I'd be happy to help you with that. Um, this has just been so cool. You're right around the corner from me. I've never been to your campus. I had never met you, but I'm going to make it to one of your events this fall and come up and introduce myself. Um, but we're not done yet. We always wrap up with the athletic director's toolbox. Now, you certainly know your way around the world of athletics, but we're going to take our final break, hear from Athletic Surveys who sponsor this segment. And when we come back, I'm going to challenge you to send out a brand new athletic director on their very first job, but I'm only going to let you put 3 items in their toolbox. So let's take that break. And when we come back, we're going to see what Travis Alderink puts in his new AD toolbox. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys for sponsoring the AD Toolbox segment. At my school, we use surveys for everything for student athletes, for our coaches, especially for parents. And the information that would come back on these surveys was almost always over the top positive. We also got to hear from those squeaky wheel parents that we were already hearing from. But the survey allowed us to hear their concerns, usually address them before they turned into something big, and gradually try to bring them over to that 98%. But having that 98% approval, having all that data, incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with one of those frustrated parents, or maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. Well, it's that time of the podcast. We've been visiting today with Travis Alderink. He's the director of athletics at South Lake High School here in Central Florida. Does a tremendous job at his school, has a tremendous background in sports administration. But right now, I'm going to challenge him to send out a brand new athletic director on their first job, but I'm only going to let him put 3 items in the toolbox. So, Travis, what 3 tools are going to go into your new athletic director toolbox?
So I've been listening to your podcast for a couple of weeks now, ever since I was invited on. I'm going to listen to it more regularly, I promise. But a lot of people have said in this toolbox is communication, and I'm going to piggyback on that and say communication and relationships, but with who? Now everybody's important, but there's a couple people on your campus that I was given this advice when I was a rookie teacher or right out of college, and they said get really close with your front desk lady, get really close with your head custodian or all custodians and get really close with your bookkeeper. And those 3 people make the school go round and round. And your front desk lady, if you and her are not speaking terms, it is a miserable school year. So I suggest strongly is to get in with those 3 people very, very closely and bring them gifts if you have to, suck up to them, and those 3 happy AD. Number 2, I would say I actually got this from one of my classes that I just took at the FIAAA from the Orange County District Director Lonnie Flores. This hit hard and it's still hitting hard. And he said several times, if something's happening on your campus, it's because you allow it. And that has been sticking out in my head all summer long because yes, it's easy. I can hide in my classroom and not attend practices, but if what's going on in practice is because you're allowing that to happen. If there's coaches down there that aren't cleared, if there's players down there that's not cleared, it's on the AD. And so this year I'm going to do a very, very intentional job of being seen. I want to be out there in the public. I'm going to go to more parent meetings. I'm going to go to more everything. So I just want the kids to know me. I want the parents to know me. I want the coaches to obviously know me. And then last but not least is attend the FIAAA conference, the NIAAA conference. Like I said, I didn't get into it till about 2 years ago. The resources, the people you meet there are, you can't beat it. And it helps you to network. It's just, you learn, you get refreshed. And it's a wealth of knowledge, and it's just so important to go to those to network. And I mean, the FHSA compliance seminars are great, but there's these FIAAA's, the attention to details, and they really cater to the AD. And I've just been very impressed the last 2 years I've went. And now that I'm on the board, I got a little more insight, but they're very, very important. And I know you said three, but I just kind of thought of something for a fourth thing is at South Lake, we try to put ourselves into the other school's shoes. Like if a bus is late or there's an issue, try to put yourself in their shoe. I try to be very flexible and easygoing and accommodating. And when other schools get here and there's all kinds of issues, I just try to smooth that all over with kill them with kindness kind of a thing. And that's how I like South Lake's reputation to be, is I like us to be warm, welcoming, and friendly, and just very flexible and understand that life has life issues.
Boy, I'm scribbling all these down frantically. I love them all, but you mentioned if something happens on your campus, you allow it. Many years ago, I came across a phrase that's very similar. Everything you see at your school, it's either coached or it's allowed. Which one is it for you? And I've kind of built a career on that. So
Yeah, I think the Bo Ryan, the Wisconsin basketball coach, said something very similar to that. It's like it's what you allow, as a coach or as an AD that,
if you permit it, you promote it. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to say it, but it just really resonated with me, and I shared it with our kids, our coaches, our parents, and really at all my stops, they embraced it pretty much as well as I did. So good for you. And again, all your other ones, just outstanding. Um, your very first one, communication. You did that's a home run right there. Your front desk person, your head custodian, even the team in the cafeteria, your food service,
yes,
critical,
yep.
critical relationships.
And that's for all teachers, really. I mean, you want to be a good, successful teacher, you get in with those people, and especially the custodians. You cannot, like, those are the people that the bloodline of the school, and you just can't think you're because you got a degree and they don't. Like, I don't know, like they're my equal, very, very much so.
Hey, no, I mean we're all on the same team, okay?
Yeah,
And then their position is facilities, their position is front desk, but hey, we're all on the same team.
yeah.
We should have done this earlier, so shame on me. But Travis, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out and pick your brain a little bit, see how you do things there at South Lake, or just add you to their network. And listeners, I think you got a great resource here. What's the best way that they can connect with you?
Email's the best. My school email is my last name, Alderink, ALDERINK, with my first little initial T. And then Lake County's got a funky one. It's at lake.k12.fl.us. So, I mean, yeah, email's the best. I'm not too comfortable giving out my cell phone, but if they email me, I can give them out their cell phone. But yeah, hope I can help. I've been doing high school athletics this is going to go into my 8th year. I did middle school athletics for 10 years. And I by far do not know everything, but I can look it up or I can ask somebody for you.
No. Hey, sounds again like a great resource. Thanks again for sharing. For listeners, we want to say thanks to you and remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please join us again for the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time.